sure that our city, which is the most international city in the whole world, is being maintained that way? Who do we trust to do that? And I want to tell you very briefly that I've just talked to the dean of the consular court. He tells me that we have been tied with New York in terms of how many consul generals we have in Toronto, and now we are number one. We've got more consul generals in Toronto than New York by one. Why is that? Because our country is simply better. And so with the Turkish consulate opening next month, it will put us in the lead. So there are more consul generals in the whole world here in Toronto than anywhere else. I mean, that's incredible, isn't it? So who is going to be the mayor? Who's going to be the mayor? Who's going to represent this international ethno-culture community best? Now that's why I'm here, because I believe that with all the challenges, in addition to all the ethno-culture communities, I think there is one man who is going to do that best. And you know, all of you know who that is. It is George Smitherman, because he's got intelligence, he's got guts, he's capable, and in him, I know I can trust the budget of the City of Toronto to him. George Smitherman, who's the mayor?
First off, to all of you, a very, very warm welcome to my campaign headquarters. And just to let you know that we've opened an additional office in Scarborough, and we will likely open at least one more office in the campaign because the City of Toronto is so large. I am a lifelong resident of Toronto. I was born at Humber Memorial Hospital. My people trace their roots to Weston. I was raised in Central Etobicoke, and I've had the privilege of living in the downtown since 1987. And for 10 years, I was a colleague of Tony Ruprecht's, representing the riding of Toronto Centre. First, we have to acknowledge that Tony Ruprecht is the Dean of all members of the Ontario Legislature from the City of Toronto, elected in every election since 1981, even in some of those elections when other parties threw everything that they had at trying to bring him down. Because of his close connection to all of the people, he has been extraordinarily successful. And it is his model that has helped to teach me from the time I'm a young boy growing up. He said maturing, and we have our friend from the anti-aging focus. As Tony Ruprecht has matured, and we have all matured, I have been the beneficiary of learning about his model of politics, which is the model of inclusion, the model of recognition that Toronto as a city, Ontario as a province, and Canada as a country are enriched by the experience of immigration. But this is not a new story. Even though I could say that I have long roots in Toronto, my people came at one time in search of opportunity from England and from Scotland. And others have come from Ireland, and have come from Israel, and have come from all parts of the world at different times to create this society that we know as the most diverse place to be found anywhere in the world. I'm motivated to leave the opportunities that I had at the province of Ontario because I'm frustrated and even a little bit angry about the way that the city government has been performing. And in this race for mayor, I desire to help to create a city that works for everyone. By which I mean to say, to focus on the needs that a city has to perform better, to give us the ability to move from point A to point B, to give us safer streets, to enhance the employment for our people, because we know that there are many challenges with employment. But at all times, if I am elected mayor, my model will be to be a mayor for all of the people. You know, back many, many decades ago, we had Nathan Phillips, one of the great mayors of Toronto. His slogan was Mayor for all of the people. And the city that was then diverse is even more diverse now. And if we want to be able to lead Toronto forward and to have a City of Toronto that grows, then we have an obligation to recognize that we are a city that has many unique strengths. given the chances that I had for 10 years representing this riding of Toronto Centre, has taught me a lot about diversity. This very neighbourhood of St. Lawrence, or the neighbourhoods of Regent Park, St. Jamestown, are places where from door to door to door you have different reflection of diversity. And I feel so enriched as a politician in Toronto who has enjoyed the benefit of this experience, that I feel that it really gives me a good, strong education to be able to be an effective mayor, a mayor that sees Toronto's strength in its diversity. Unity in diversity is something that we have to be very, very focused on. And also, as someone who comes from a community that has sometimes been subjected to persecution, I have some understanding too for the needs of a minority. I come from a community that identifies very closely with Pierre Trudeau's work on the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Even though I stand before you as a white male, obviously, who has enjoyed privileged office, I come from a community that has some of the minority experience of persecution, and a community that identifies closely with the fundamental protection of rights and freedoms that comes from the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. But I want to be the mayor of Toronto because I believe that Toronto needs to have leadership that is not accepting mediocre circumstances. We know Toronto is a city of great neighborhoods. We know that Toronto is a city of amazing people, of the most diverse nature and the best educated anywhere in the face of the whole earth. But we also know that sometimes the government at City Hall is not as good as the people and not as good as the neighborhoods. I strive to be a mayor who will force change and bring us to a higher level. That we cannot accept a mediocrity as good enough for a city with such great neighborhoods and such great people. So I'm very, very pleased that you've come here tonight. I thank my friend Tony Ruprecht, who's been a leader in identifying the unique strengths of minority communities for so long. He's published on this and well read, and many people who are students of Toronto and students of Canada have looked to the work that he has done to give them a roadmap to understand what is the strength, what is the fundamental abiding strength of the City of Toronto. And as a mayor, I want to be a mayor who makes Toronto work for everybody. My vision of Toronto is a city that works for everybody, not just some who happen to look and talk a certain way, but to experience the realities of the diversity. Our motto at the City of Toronto says, "Diversity, our strength." It is my obligation, if I'm elected mayor, to give life to this very, very important motto. And I look forward to working with all of you to try and help get the word out to your various communities. The very last thing I will say is just to introduce a couple of people who can be very, very important to all of you, and very important to me in the days of the campaign. You know, it is said that in mayoral races that really they begin at Labor Day. In the summertime, most people are more focused on spending time with family and doing those kinds of things. But Labor Day draws near, and in the days after that, we will have a very, very intense battle of visions for the future of Toronto. And I want to introduce just two people, but there are many others here who are helping me and can also be important in working with you. The first is my campaign manager. His name is Bruce Davis. He's the chair of the Toronto District School Board, and in his part-time he helps me. Have come to see that the ethnocultural press is so numerous and has very specific needs. We wanted to be able to respond with a press secretary focused specifically on the ethnocultural community, and I'm pleased to be able to introduce Serge LeBlanc. Now he's a man, just so that you have some understanding of the skills that he has to be able to manage your needs, to get you the time that you need with me. If you let us know about events, deadlines for news stories and all of that, he will be at your service. His experiences include as somebody who has harnessed the power of thoroughbred horses. Now he told me, he said, "I'm used to working with 1,200-pound thoroughbreds." And at first I didn't understand him. Maybe I was a little bit ESL. I thought that he was saying that I weighed 1,200 pounds. And I weigh quite a bit less than 1,200 pounds. But you will see that he's in your corner. And if you need things from our campaign, information in response to policy questions, you have events that you're involved in that you wish for me to attend to, you're looking for some time to sit down with me and conduct interviews, etc., this man, Serge LeBlanc, is in your corner. So